All right, amigos, you are considering a move abroad. Congratulations. That means you're open-minded and ready and willing to try this crazy new adventure, right? But are you open-minded enough? We want to tell you about a few lessons we learned, some things we picked up along the way that made us realize that even though we were excited about the adventure, we were not prepared for how much change and how open our minds needed to be to really adapt and integrate into Spanish life. So, for example, we've done our research, we were open-minded, we were in the country, we knew coming over that Spain does meal times different than the US. There are 5 meals here as opposed to 3 meals in the US, which was normal for us.
Yeah, so once the kids started school and we kind of started getting nailed down into a regular schedule, we quickly learned that the US meal times we were accustomed to were not going to work anymore in Spain, which, like Drac said, we did know coming into it, but until we were like really living a regular Spanish daily life, we didn't really have to adjust very much. But once the kids started school, it was like breakfast, and then our oldest kids got home at 2 and they were starving for lunch, and so I was cooking then, and then our little kids got home at like 5 and wanted a snack then, and then everybody wanted dinner later, and I was spending the entire day in the kitchen just cooking, and I'm not a kitchen kind of cooking person, so we really had to make the changes to get more in line with the regular Spanish schedule.
What was weird is kind of how it snuck up on us. Like, we knew that that was the rhythm here, but because we got here and there was a period of adjustment where we didn't have to change that, it really snuck up on us, and to the point of we were like, why do we feel so stressed and exhausted over how the schedule of this day is, just based on meal times alone, not to mention everything else that's going on in the adaptation. So that one small example early on in our life here really shows you a couple of the big challenges that you will have to contend with in order to keep your mind open as you're moving forward and integrating in life. So the first one of those is you don't know what you don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Do you know what I don't know?
I don't know what you don't know.
That sounds obvious. All of these things sound obvious, but you just don't know what you don't know. And those things can kind of sneak up on you, and they can not demoralize.
Discourage?
They can kind of discourage you unless you keep pushing yourself to keep that open mind. They can make you feel ignorant, like you're not learning as much or as quickly as you want to. For example, 6 months into living here and you're like, okay, my Spanish is getting better, but you keep going to the store or the bar and talking to people that you go, I can't understand what they're saying, but I can understand what these people say. And over time you realize they're not from Spain, they're from Argentina, or they're not from Valencia, they're from Andalusia. And so their accents are different. And it's almost like you're learning personal accents as opposed to just a language. You don't know what you don't know?
You don't know.
So challenge number 1, keeping your mind open. You don't know what you don't know, and that's okay.
The second challenge is the mundane, because you're not on vacation anymore. You've moved your regular life from one place and traded it for a regular life in another place. Maybe a more exotic, more beautiful place, but still you're gonna have to do all the regular day-to-day stuff, and it can really get kind of mundane. So you're gonna be doing the normal day-to-day life stuff, like
opening a bank account, making your government appointments to get your residency, enrolling your kids in school, buying school supplies, grocery shopping, cooking.
All the usual stuff that you would do anywhere you're living. And it starts to feel less like an adventure and more like normal, which isn't bad. Normal is good. That's what your goal is anyway, is to create a life in a new place. And you need that life to be your new normal. But the loss of the sense of adventure can really be discouraging when you're going through those processes.
Yes, especially having the language that you're learning on top of it, that element that makes you nervous and stresses you out if your Spanish isn't good when you get here. So you get to that government appointment and they go, with your 7 kids, but you only made 1 appointment and you're supposed to have 1 appointment for all 9 people, and
you cry and you beg.
And it's a 45-minute bus ride to get to that office. Never forget.
Okay, so how do we overcome these challenges of you don't know what you don't know and the mundane tasks that you have to figure out? Something that we feel like really helped us was just trying to be really mindful about why we're here, what we're doing, and try and remember that each thing we do is a learning experience. And it's a process to get us one step closer to being integrated into a new culture. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's a step-by-step, day-by-day process. It's all an adventure. It's just really important to keep that at top of mind.
Yes, you are on a continuum of learning. And so trying to keep yourself in that mode of saying, but this is an adventure. It may not be vacation anymore. It may not be when you were scouting or you were on vacation and fell in love with the country. But it can still be an adventure. And I think for us, watching the kids adapt was a really great example. So a beautiful thing about having 7 kids is they've all got different personalities. Some are more adventurous than others. One might be willing to try new and weird foods, but maybe not willing to jump off of a cliff with me into the Mediterranean. So a really great example of that is our son Carter. Something we would have never thought of is just pronunciation of our names. Okay, so if you don't have a name like Matthew, which becomes Mateo, John, Juan, that is something you have to adapt to. Our son, kid number 3, goes by the name of Carter. It's his middle name. And we did not realize when we got here that that is a name that is not culturally known in Spain. So they've never seen it written down for the people who learn by reading, and hourly as well. People can't visualize it. They don't hear it. And the way we pronounce Carter has 2 really hard letters in it, the R and the T. So he got to school, and as he's adapting with school, people are asking him his name. He goes, Carter, and they go, Caro. Yeah. Now, we didn't realize to say, it's like there's a Spanish word, cartero. And if he could have maybe known to tell them to do that, they might have been able to adapt. But he didn't know that. So his form of adaptation was trying his first name, which is Taryn. And he would say Taryn. And the way we pronounce the N at the end of that is not really heard to a Spanish speaker's ear. So they said Terry. So he became Terry, which is neither of his names.
It's a nickname of his first name.
So how cool that he adapted to that, right? But then as parents, we are also seeing that example, and we are having to adapt to him going by a different name.
Yeah, and not only that, but he was Terry for so long here in Spain. Now he's an adult, and he still goes by his first name, Taryn. So that's been a huge adjustment for all of us.
For the whole family. So it's things like that happening in your mundane life. He's just going to school. People are getting to know his name, right? And he didn't know how to pronounce his name in a way that they could say the name he always went by, right? But it's looking to those things, being mindful of those things and seeing the transformation that's happening. That's the beautiful way that you can try to keep your mind open and try to move forward on that continuum of learning and being on the adventure of living abroad. On that note, we want to give you a tip of something that we did each day, especially in the beginning, that we really think helped keep us open-minded and help us overcome those challenges, and also just the discouragement that you can feel on a daily basis while you're learning, was that we recapped the day with the kids every night.
Yeah, so we would ask them what was something awesome that happened today, what was a challenge today, and I think it really did help cultivate in all of us maintaining that sense of adventure. Like, today was hard because of this, but it was great because of this, and isn't it so interesting that we're doing all of these things in a new place? And it kind of kept it top of mind, like, this is a process, it's an adventure. It's something to approach with a learning outlook. And so, yeah, it really helped us a lot to, like Jack said, overcome those challenges that you can really get discouraged with not knowing things.
Alongside of that, we all took time each day to kind of journal those things as well as talking about it. And that was super helpful. So look, keep an open mind.
I had like a can opener. You can go around your head.
Like sardines. We hope that's helpful, and we just want to tell you, don't get discouraged. Do your best to keep your mind open and understand that that's the process you came for. Just keep telling yourself that I am here to open my mind even further and learn this beautiful new culture and language and have this adventure in my life.
I don't know.
Like a duck.
I don't know what that was.
The end.